Hi, welcome to the video. Make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoy, and comment your thoughts and opinions on the stories. Let's get started. Am I the antagonist for picking a fight about how much this guy's kids eat daily? Summer break started last Friday for my BF of 3 years kids. This is the first year that we have lived together, and he had the kids every other weekend up until summer, whereas now week on week off. His kids are 11 male, 10 male and 6F. In the weekends that they were here prior to school let out, they were eating easily 4 meals a day with snacks between. Their dad was here on weekends, so he was the one in charge of the cooking and whatever, but I'm the one who buys grocery. Bills are split 50-50. So on the weekends that the kids were here, they easily ate enough food for 5 days worth of meals. Now they have been here since Monday and I have gone through $450 worth of food. I made a big breakfast this morning with pancakes, eggs, sausage, bacon and biscuits and gravy. Their plates were mounded over. I go into the office to clock in for my shift, and within not even 45 minutes they are in the office saying they are starving and asking if they can have snacks. Literally every 30 to 45 minutes they are complaining of needing food. Just today they had that massive breakfast, 2 sandwiches and a huge salad for lunch. They have gone through a bag of cereal, like 3 single bags of ramen, granola bars, a bag of apples, and now they are asking me for eggs. I told them no, because I'm going to be making dinner soon, and they are straight up sulking right now saying they are hungry. There is no way. I brought this to their mom's attention, because it's costing me so much money at this point, and she went to have them tested for parasites or worms. Both came back negative. He said it's possibly a growth spurt, but they have been like this for as long as I've known them. So I just called my BF, because these kids are literally biting at my ankles to feed them, and I'm honestly just beyond fed up right now, because like I said, every 30 to 45 minutes I'm getting harped on for food, so I've had my workday interrupted over 30 times today. I told my BF that not only is he going to have to start chipping in for food, but he's going to have to find other accommodations for his kids, because I'm not watching them if they are going to be like this all summer. I have work to do, and I don't have the patience to be interrupted hundreds of times for food. He says I'm being overly hostile, and that I need to get over the fact that his kids are eating, and says I'm acting like I would rather they not eat anything. He says I picked a fight, which I didn't. Maybe my tone was off. Not sure. But I've also gotten jack all done today because these kids won't stop asking for food and start freaking out if I say no. Am I the antagonist? Now for the top comments. NTA, these aren't your kids. They're your boyfriends. He should be in charge of them, and he should be paying for the food they're eating. They're his responsibility, including financially. If you can't work because they are pestering you, he needs to get them into some summer programs or find childcare rather than dumping them on you. They also sound bored, not hungry. I agree, opt as to work. Put them in some program or day camp, etc. to keep them busy. Kids eat a lot. I have one 9-year-old home now, and my grocery bill is quite a bit higher than during the school year. He told me that he's hungry all day at school because they don't serve a lot of food at breakfast or lunch. And of course there's a limited amount of time set aside to eat. There are a few things you can do though. 1. Set boundaries for them. Breakfast is X time, lunch is X time, and dinner is X time. If you're hungry in between those times, you can help yourself to these foods: granola bars, peanut butter crackers, fruit, etc. Close bracket. They are not allowed to disturb you for food anymore. 2. BF needs to pay more for groceries at least during the summer. However, if you ever get married he might assume that would change. So you may want to have a general discussion on finances around extra expenses when they are with you. 3. BF needs to be on board, so you may have to approach it differently. The interruptions are affecting your productivity and you don't want to get in trouble at work. For example, that's the biggest issue here, is that you can't get your work done because of them. He needs to pony up for a sitter. Working from home doesn't make you a built-in babysitter. 4. If they are going to be home with you, then they need activities to keep them busy. Reading, playing outside, crafts, whatever they like. That should help prevent boredom eating. I actually think you're not the a-hole. Just frustrated, and maybe that part came out too strongly when you talk to BF. NTA, 11 and 10 are old enough to fix sandwiches for themselves and their 6-year-old sibling. He should be pitching in for the extra groceries with his kids there. Side note, it sounds like you work from the home. That means you're working, not a babysitter for his kids. If they aren't able to fend for themselves during the week, he should hire a sitter. Am I the antagonist for ignoring my sister's biological sisters? My sister is adopted. Her mom knew my parents when she was young and pregnant. She knew they were looking to become parents and went through legal channels for my parents to adopt my sister. She wrote my sister a letter explaining her reasoning and told her she will always be there if she wants contact. But if not, she wanted the most beautiful life for her. I was born 5 years after the adoption. My sister and I have always been the best of friends, the closest of sisters, and we adore each other. She really struggled with the decision to make contact with her birth mother. She never wanted anyone to think our parents weren't good enough or weren't her real parents. I encouraged her to talk to them, and they reassured her. They said anyone who looked at it like that could fuck off. So she made contact and found out she had 2 half-sisters that her mom later had. It's been more than 2 years since first contact was made, but there was a while where they didn't meet because of COVID. She did FaceTime and stuff. So did me and my parents. Her birth mom seems like a really amazing and has been really cool about everything. But the half-sisters, who are 13 and 15, have been difficult to say the least. They are very clearly jealous of my relationship with my sister. They have brought up how they're her real sisters and stuff along that line. Their mom freaked out when she heard them say it, and my sister was quick to step in and say I was her sister. It never really got better. They were placed in therapy and their mom kept apologizing. For my sister's birthday a little while ago, she invited them over to our parents for a low-key dinner. The girls started saying that crap to me again, and some other stuff about how they would make their sister forget all about me. I ignored them. I didn't react. Didn't even acknowledge they were beside me saying anything. It was like they weren't in the room, and they did not like that. So they yelled about how I was not her sister and would never be her sister and I wasn't wanted, so I should just leave. Their mom went off. Then my sister told her birth mom to leave and take the girls with her. She told them she was not going to talk to them anymore because she doesn't feel like it's working, and that if they ever want to know her, they have to accept I'm her sister. They were devastated, and I think they were really caught off guard. They said it was all my fault. Logically, I know it's not. Part of me does feel bad and wonders if ignoring them instead of just walking away or telling them to stop maybe drove it to a point of no return. Am I the antagonist? Now for the top comments. NTA, what the hell is wrong with those girls? They obviously aren't coping well. It's a shame that the mom got swept up in it, because it sounds like she was great, but she shares responsibility for letting her girls act like that. I hope it works out somehow. She has been doing everything she can to be fair. Therapy, punishing them for acting this way, talking things through with them. But these girls have a fierce something going on that is not being worked on. Maybe they don't even know. Maybe they don't want to work on it. But I'm not sure how much anyone can do unless they want to make things work. NTA, you could have escalated things by responding. Instead they escalated it themselves and showed your sister who they are. So happy she stood up for you. Am I the antagonist for making my mom cry after calling her out? My 20F sister, 17F, is pretty much the more favored sibling. I have 2 younger siblings besides her, 8 male and 12F, and Pacific Islander parents. Growing up, I have always been compared to my sister through studies, sports, etc, but I knew I was smart and athletic enough, so their remarks never bothered me. I also have a great relationship with my sister, so there's nothing wrong there. However, my sister recently graduated from high school and received a scholarship to go to a university here. As happy as I'm for my sister, I currently go to a community college. For some background info, I received a lot of scholarships from different universities for sports and academics. I even got a scholarship from the same school my sister is going to. I was so happy because I always wanted to move out after high school due to a somewhat toxic household. This was my plan and dream for many years. But when I had a real chance of leaving because of a good scholarship, my parents told me no. They guilt tripped me into staying to help with the bills and take care of my other siblings. Of course I was furious. I cried in my room many nights, but I knew I had to get over myself. So I got a job and took online courses at a community college. One night my mom brought up the scholarship. She was saying how proud she was and that she wanted my C's to go to that uni, etc. I was obviously annoyed and my mom noticed. Then she said, "Oh, and you can go attend campus now. You don't have to keep doing it online." I sarcastically said, "Gee, thanks mom," and laughed until my mom said, "Wow, you're still not over it?" I didn't know what she meant, so she continued, "You know, with us not letting you go to the school you wanted. Geez, when are you gonna let that go?" My mom said, laughing. I couldn't believe she said that. She said it like it was nothing. Like I didn't sacrifice anything. I was angry, so I finally asked, "So why does sister get to go to uni but not me?" My mom was taken back but replied with, "Because she has a scholarship." I said I had scholarships too. She tried to say that it was different and defended herself until I yelled out, "Just admit you like sister more." My mom was silent, but then tried to deny it. I stopped her, saying, "Don't even bother denying it. I've known it my whole life. Why do you think I've been trying to escape this house? It's because of you, and dad, and I'll never forgive you for that." My mom was silent before anything else happened. I just went to my room. Here's why I think I'm an a-hole. My sister told me the next day that my mom was crying that night and that I should go and apologize. I really hate making my mom cry, but they also don't understand my feelings. I know it's not a big issue, but they took away my only chance at being free. I made sacrifices for them, and they don't even care. So am I the antagonist? Now for the top comments. NTA, you told her the truth. If it makes her cry, then that's either because she's in denial, or because you've forced her to face that truth. You should never have been forced to give up your opportunities by your parents. Truth hurts, but having your dreams taken from you hurts more. I've lived as the least favored child op, and I'm sorry you've gone through that. Not the a-hole. NTA, sometimes parents need to be called out on their obvious favoritism, and sometimes they can't handle their own feelings when they are. I hope this leads to a better relationship instead of a more broken one. Thank you, I hope so too. NTA. But here's the thing. It's not your only chance to escape. Apply to colleges now. You have a job, so money is coming in. Make a plan. Get your birth certificate and any other documents you need. Don't sacrifice another thing for you mother, and focus on yourself. You are justified in how you are feeling, and you are also very right. This has been absolutely unfair to you. Am I the antagonist for not wanting to be responsible for my little brother anymore? I, 20F, still live at home with my parents and little brother, 12 male. I work full time, saving up to move out and go back to school and get a car. My parents both DoorDash since my dad recently lost his job and my mom is unemployed, and right now my brother is on summer break. Just to start, I pay rent, and I've been paying a lot lately since I'm the only one making a consistent income. My parents are literally never home. They rarely bring food or buy groceries, and when they do, they don't bring any for me. Anytime I'm not working, they want me home to take care of my brother and make sure he's okay. 90% of the time I don't mind, since I'm home anyway, but sometimes I have plans with my friends or my boyfriend, and I can't stay home. When this happens, my mom gets really mad. She'll say this is all they ask me to do. It's really not, and that I'm selfish. She won't talk to me for days at a time, and usually she'll block my phone number too. She also asks me to either make or buy my brother food multiple times a week. Again, usually I do, but sometimes I either don't have money or am not home to make him something, since I'm busy or at work. I have done so much of the raising of my brother since he was born. I was 8 and taking care of a newborn by myself, since my parents would wanna go out. I had subconscious resentment of him for a long time that I worked hard to get over. But because of this, I never want kids, since I feel like I kinda already went through it, and I hated it. Today my mom bought a nice lunch for everyone but me, and when I asked why, she said, because I don't help out with my brother. I got mad and told her how much I do for him, and she pretty much just gaslit me and said I don't do anything and I never get him food. I didn't want to fight about it, so I just said okay and asked if the next time they get food they can just call and let me know so I can send them money to get me something so I have something to eat, and all she said was, "Do you have anything else to bitch about?" and then left. Now I just don't want to help them out at all and make them actually have to take care of my brother instead of making me do it. Would I be the asshole if I just stopped helping completely? Now for the top comments. NTA would recommend seeing if you have friends you could stay with, or if your BF could help. They are basically doing it to wear you down and try and make it so you won't leave cause you'll feel responsible for your brother. Girl, you should have left that house 2 years ago when you turned 18 if you could have. Honestly, look at your budget and how much you already spend and see if it isn't actually cheaper to get a place with a roommate once you're gone, even temporarily. They'll see how much you did. I suggest staying somewhere far away even for a little bit and block their number like they did to you. NTA, but you're never going to save up when you're financially carrying everyone. Plus, the stress and manipulation. You'd be better off finding a roommate situation and getting away from all the negativity. They're draining you, so you aren't able to save up. You need help to bug out now. When you're drained, they'll probably get some job and foist that parentification trap on you. Then you'll get up and get drained again. NTA, and get help now. Am I the antagonist for walking out of my best friend wedding? I, 22F, attended my 20F best friend of 15 plus years wedding, which I assisted in planning and preparing for several months prior. We were discussing first dance song choices, and I was asked what song I was going to use, and ended the discussion after I had answered. When that day of the wedding comes, him running around getting things set up and making sure that they are in order. So by the time the reception started, I was drained. When it came time for the new Liwat's first dance, I was stunned to discover it was the song that I had told my friend that I wanted to use. After I finally came out of my state of shock, I turned and walked out of the wedding venue. I can't really put into words how badly this hurt, seeing as how I'd done so much for her. But most people I talk to think him the R. So am I? Edit. My wedding is in 2 weeks and this is a song my fianc and I had decided on well over a year ago. Its significance to me and my fianc's long-term relationship was explained to her when she asked about it. Edit 2. Just to clear up what I mean when I say I walked out was that I literally walked out quietly and returned 20 minutes later. The only person who knew anything happened was my own fianc, and I'm waiting until the bride returns from her honeymoon to discuss anything with her. And had she simply asked, I would have been okay. The upsetting thing is that I was blindsided. Now for the top comments. Info: is the song popular? As in, many people know the song, not particularly that it's a common wedding song. I've been to more than one wedding that used Etta James's At Last, and I've not been to a huge amount of weddings. It's not a song that you hear on the radio, and I likely wouldn't know it existed if I hadn't heard it during my Catholic high school years. My wife and I used more than Words by Extreme. Want to know what other songs were used at the 30 plus weddings I've attended in my life? I have no effing idea. Nobody cares. Seriously. Am I the antagonist for telling my sister she is not welcome to sleep train her son in my home? My sister and I have very different parenting techniques, but it's never bothered me prior. We have different lives. We both do what works. This isn't me shitting on sleep training before anyone accuses me of it. My sister, her infant and toddler are staying with us for a couple weeks. My brother-in-law's dad died, and they are staying in town for the grieving process. He's staying with his mom, but her place isn't big enough for all of them. Before they arrived, my sister told me the baby was still sleep training, and she apologized for any noise at night. I told her I didn't want him excessively crying, and if that'll be an issue she should make alternative arrangements. She said he'd be fine. They arrived. All was well. Until she started his night routine. He fussed, as babies do, and started immediately crying. She proceeded to check on him every 10 minutes or so. She's using the Ferber method. So she checks on him every 10 minutes to soothe, and then picks him up at the hour mark before he doing it all. I was uncomfortable the whole time, and myself nor my kids slept very well. Even after he'd fallen asleep he'd wake up a few times a night and cry, which in turn woke us up too. The next day I told her I didn't want to deal with that again. She apologized and said he's usually down to an hour, which I then repeated I didn't want to deal with. That night she started up again, and 40 minutes in I told her she either hold her baby and calm him down or I will. She left him for another 10 minutes. So I went in and soothed him. She was upset because I was disrupting their progress. He went down pretty easy after that, but still woke up for a cry a few times. The third night I said from the start that I wouldn't be listening to him cry. If she let him cry and didn't tend to him within 10 minutes I'd tend to him. I ended up soothing him most of that night, and yesterday I told her she either had to soothe him herself or they'd have to stay somewhere else because she wasn't welcome to sleep train in my home. She got upset, asked where they were going to go. I said I didn't know. Talk to my brother-in-law's family, or she could simply soothe her baby through the night like I do. She was notably really upset, but did soothe him last night, and no crying. Still, things are incredibly tense. And our other sister, out of state, has told me I'm being inconsiderate. She's just lost her fill, and is obviously struggling. I feel bad, but perhaps not as much as I should. I mostly feel bad for my nephew, despite knowing this is fine. And I'm definitely messing up their sleep training journey thus far. Am I the antagonist? Now for the top comments. NTA, we are traveling with a toddler soon who is being slowly potty trained. You know what we aren't going to do? Try to push potty training while traveling because we will be in a new place with a different routine. And I don't want to place the cleanup burden on others. You should never try something new or try to teach something with a young child when in an unfamiliar place, surrounded by unfamiliar people. It's overwhelming enough on a little one just not being home. Even excellent sleepers struggle when away from home. She should have waited to sleep train, or accepted that she would need to take a break until baby was back in a familiar environment with their consistent routine. You know what we aren't going to do? Try to push potty training while traveling because we will be in a new place. Funny enough, a vacation is what provides the breakthrough for my brother's potty training. Apparently he didn't like sitting in the Florida heat with a soiled diaper, so figured out pretty quick that he needed to ask for a bathroom. NTA. Her parenting techniques are her choice, but it's incredibly rude to expect that she should be able to make other people miserable in their own home. She needs to be considerate of the fact that she is staying in someone else's home, and those people don't want to be up all night hearing her infant cry, especially when this is disrupting the sleep of other children, not her own. Sometimes things happen, and you have to adjust your parenting techniques to fit the situation. This is one of those times. Her sleep training your nephew is not more important than you and your kids getting a good night's sleep in your own home. She needs to compromise and soothe her baby while she's staying in your home. She can go back to sleep training when she returns to her home. Edit. Rereading your post. I see you also warned her of this in advance and told her to make alternate arrangements if she wanted to allow him to cry. She really has no leg to stand on here. You made your boundaries clear before she arrived and told her to make alternate arrangements if those boundaries didn't work for her. She specifically agreed to your boundaries for staying in your home and told you it wouldn't be an issue. You have been clear and consistent. She's the one that is trying to go back on what she agreed to and push your boundaries solely for her own benefit. You're extremely not the a-hole. She knew that staying in your house would mean she would need to soothe her son if he cried at night, and she chose to stay with you